we are including boys in this conversation too, because we feel they are part of it. They should be part of it to help us stop the period stigma, all of the things. How can a boy help his sister, for example, when she's on her period?
Now we'll begin today's conversation taking our quote first from Shetrim Tarshan, an author and publisher of a play of the Cosmos. She once said, "Menstruation is a small price you pay for being blessed with the grandest gift you can ever wish for, and that is to have the privilege to give birth." Okay, but some women will not even agree with that. Anyways, let's just move on and let's take our second quote, and this one is from Judy Garn, an American poet and author. She once said, "Menstrual blood is the only source of blood that is not traumatically induced. Yet, in modern society, this is the most hidden blood, the one so rarely spoken of and almost never seen, except privately by women." Wow, interesting. All right, now let's take our third quote, and this one is from a male, Dave Foley, a Canadian actor. He's also a comedian, director, producer, and writer. He's also the co-founder of the comedy group The Kids in the Hall. He once said, "I'm the guy with the good attitude towards menstruation." Don't you just love this one? Now let's see how all of these quotes relate to what we will be discussing today. Very warm greetings and welcome to The Conversation. We're reaching you from Captain's Television Studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Annabel Orji. Now, menstruation is an inevitable part of most women's lives. The average woman would observe menstruation every month of her life for approximately 35 years. Thus, over this period, the average woman would go through more or less 20,000 sanitary pads or sanitary towels. Considering these implications, the economic cost for the average woman or adolescent are staggering, especially in low-income countries in Africa. Menstrual cycles are tied to reproductive health as well as other aspects of women's health. With menstruation comes menstrual practices, and a key part of good health for women is hygienic menstrual practices. This is an issue that fails to receive proper attention. Hygienic menstrual practices include the use of sanitary pads or tampons during menstrual flows. Sadly, most women and adolescent girls are unable to have access to this essential product that will help maintain their menstrual health, either because they are too expensive or they are unavailable, especially in rural communities or areas in countries in Nigeria and even in Africa generally. Now, they are therefore forced to resort to unhygienic menstrual practices. Unhygienic menstrual practices include the use of tissue paper, newspaper, rags, cotton wool, and even the use of damaged reusable absorbent pads or tampons. Now, this is preposterous, to say the least. So, our guest on the show today is Amrah Aliyu. She is a woman's advocate, a woman's rights advocate, and she will be talking to us on menstrual health, hygiene, management, and all of the advocacy that they have done so as to help educate and enlighten us on this very important necessity called menstruation or menstrual health. I'll see you after this time out. Do join us again.
My first menstrual experience was at the age of 13 years. So it was a tough period that month because my mom, I could not tell my mom I was scared to tell my mom that, mommy, something is coming out from my body and all that. But I tried to stop the bleeding and all that, but I found out that you can't do anything. Let me just talk to my mom and tell her. I was just feeling abdominal pain. My body, I was not comfortable at that day as a whole. But later when I talked to my mom, I told her about it. First thing she said, if any man touch you, don't go near that man, no, because you will get pregnant. I said, mommy, is it possible? I've told you. The first thing she did, then there is no tissue. Let me just say, our parents, they were enough civilized of pad and all that. So first thing she did, she just cut wrapper for me, fold it, attach it. This is what you'll be using. If it got soaked, you wash it, dry it, use this one.
I started having my period when I was 14 years. I think then I was still in secondary school. I didn't really speak with anybody because then I hardly relate to my mom on issues that are personal to me. Then although I know it was wrong, but then I was actually taught in school, so that gave me an idea of how I would have gone about the menstruation. So the day I started, I wanted to use myself. Initially I had cramps, the usual signs. I had cramps, and when I went to urinate, I didn't even know that there was blood stain on the floor. I stood up. It was even my mom that called my attention and be like, okay, now what happened that she saw this. I told her that I was having pains in my stomach, and she knew that it was actually menstruation. Then she was now like, okay. Then she uses pieces. Like she had to cut a piece of clothes and folded it and gave it to me to use. So that was how I started then. So before I got to know. Actually, of course, I got to know even when she started it. That was our own method. Then maybe that was what she grew up to know that is used for period. But of course, in this century, we know that pad is what is used for menstruation. So I actually used pad. When you have menstruations, you usually have this clotted blood, and what helps those things are bad blood in the body. So you need to take hot water. You drink hot water to push those things out. But when you go to urinate, you know that when that hot water has gone inside your body, it will help you push down those bad bloods in the body. So it helps you. When you are having your period, you should wash yourself regularly. Whenever your pad is full, you make sure that you change it so that it doesn't smell, because it really has a bad smell. Of course, if it stays for a very long period of time, it has a bad smell. So you just wash regularly.
At age 14, I didn't talk to anyone about it. In fact, before my mom could know, it was a year after. And that's because I've been in teenagers class, and in teenagers class we learn all those things, and then in girls brigade, so the knowledge is already there. So when it came, I wasn't scared and I wasn't caught unaware, so I knew what to do.
In secondary school, at the age of 13, I spoke to my mom about it, and she taught me little things about menstruation and adulthood, so as not to get pregnant and seeing guys, stuffs like that. So that is it. Then getting sanitary pad every month from her and all that.
If I'm start having menstrual cramps, I'll start shouting, crying. Know how everybody in the whole store will know that Miriam is seeing her period. So it's not easy for me.
My cramps, in fact, from since I started my period at the age of 14, I've had cramps up till now. Like, I still have menstrual cramps. And it's usually very painful. Sometimes it stops me from doing a lot of things. I get tired, I'm very weak most times. I cannot do anything. In fact, for a whole day, I can just be lying down, trying to, get myself and all that. So cramps has been part of my period ever since I started. But I think I've actually realized a way to stop those cramps, because I use hot water. I take hot water. Some people use ginger tea and all that, but I just take water instead of using pills.
So I watch eating the things I eat, like sweet things. So, and that has really helped a lot. I hardly have menstrual cramps. So it's just sometimes.
No. I'm cramps free.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is The Conversation. We are reaching you from Kaftan Television Studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. If you just joined us, you're right on time for the interview. Our guest on the show today is Amrah Aliyu. She is a woman's rights advocate. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you. All right, now let's talk about menstrual health or menstrual hygiene. What exactly does it mean and why is it so important?
Menstrual hygiene is, or let me say, menstrual hygiene management is access to, product of to collect menstrual blood. It could be sanitary pad, it could be tampons, it could be menstrual cups. Just access to getting those products to, to take care of the menstruation. And lack of access to it is called period poverty. Yes, there are women and girls out there who do not have access to sanitary pads, to tampons, or to menstrual cups. And these girls go as far as using tissue papers, cow dung, whatever rags, whatever is available and around them at the time, that's what they use. So that is period poverty, and that is menstrual hygiene management. Yeah.
So why exactly is it important to adhere strictly to hygiene management or menstrual management?
It's very important to adhere to hygiene management because of infections, because of things that because of limits. Because if a woman is not is on her period and she does not have the sanitary pad, she's not with her sanitary pad or with necessary things to take care of herself, then she's not even able to reach her potential. She's not able to go out there, she's not able to go to school, she's not able to go to work, she's not able to do other things that other girls or even boys do. We see that the percentage of women and girls especially in Africa, who do not go to school who miss school is due to, most of them is due to, their periods. You notice that a girl misses school 4 or 5 times, in a month, in each time, in each month. And if you calculate those days to in a term, just check out how many times she's going to miss school and what she'll be missing out a lot, and she would be held back. So it goes, and if a girl does not have access to going to school frequently because she does not have access to this menstrual hygiene products, then she would be held back. Then how far can she go? Compared to her peers in school? So it is very important, very, very important to allow women and girls to achieve their goals, to allow them to not be prone to infections or diseases, to allow them to reach beyond, because we've seen so many cases where a girl is stained in school, and this period shaming, people have been like, oh, that happened to and this is going to really hold her back to not even be expressive or be comfortable or be outspoken or try to express herself in school as she should be, because she feels, oh, what if this happens today again, or what if someone is looking and she might not even be able to stand up and say anything in school anymore because of that shame or that that shame.
Okay, so now what are the process, or what does it take to improve one's menstrual health and hygiene?
The problem, I think, what is bringing us to talk about this period poverty is in a whole.
Okay.
And besides poverty, the task that is being induced on menstrual products. Menstrual products are highly taxed in Nigeria. Besides, before now, you go to to you go to get sanitary pad. How much was it? How much is it now? And even those who are well-to-do complain about the hike in prices. Not talk of someone who is trying to, you know, eat 3 times a meal. How do you expect that person to go and get,
especially those in the rural areas?
Yes. How do you expect someone to go get a sanitary pad when he has not even eaten? That's not even, you know, realistic. So the high tax that are put on menstrual products, poverty, all of this, you know, relates to it's a contributory factor to why, you know, people do not have access to menstrual products. And that is why we try to, for example, people who are in IDP camps, these are people who have been displaced from one country or one state to another, and they are struggling for their lives here in a camp. How do they get money to go say, oh, I have so much that
I have some to spare for sanitary towels.
And sanitary menstruation is not supposed to be a luxury. It is a need. It is something that is natural, that every girl or woman goes through. It's like a part of us, a part of living, because we need it to reproduce and to go through all of that. So it is not supposed to be a luxury that a woman should not be able to afford. So at the organization I work, Serve for Women and Girls Support, we're seeing how we can, you know, bring this, advocate to the government to give underserved women and girls free sanitary pads, just like we have free condoms. What if we can have free condoms in public hospitals, then why can't we have free sanitary pads in public hospitals and public schools? Not everyone.
We're going to touch on that later on the show.
Okay.
But now let's talk about the fact that many girls do not have complete and accurate understanding of menstruation as a normal biological process. So educating these girls before the first period, and importantly, even the boys, like you also mentioned, on menstruation, helps to build their confidence and contributes to social solidarity, and also encourages healthy habits, since information should then be provided from the home. You should start from the home and then to schools. So today's conversation is not only based on just adults. We're also talking about girls who just approached their puberty stage, and they feel uncomfortable to disclose it with anyone. Menstruation period and cycles, they just saw that it came out, and some of them are too uncomfortable to talk to their parents or guardian about it. So how would that process start, especially from those girls?
So it's advisable for parents to talk to their kids about menstruation, even about sex education. What we do not do in this part of the world is, you know, talk to girls openly about menstruation. Most girls, it's as if all mothers have been wired or have been taught in the same class to teach their kids this same pattern. Okay, now you're a woman, you're a full-grown woman. If you go close to a boy, you're going to get pregnant, and that is it.
So learn to take care of yourself, or zip up.
Yeah, you know, so, and that is it. And it's as if all mothers have been wired to say the same thing, like it's a script to say the same thing. But we're advocating for also for women, for mothers in particular, to do better. Because if you can sit your girl and tell her about her cycle, her period length, all of this, she won't be out there looking for information, and no one is going to give her the wrong information outside. So really, it starts from home. Most of us start our because period poverty does not only stop at lack of access to menstrual products. Even lack of access to menstrual information is period poverty.
Okay.
So if most people, you'll see that their information is limited to maybe a school, maybe when a particular organization comes to the school to do a sensitization program on menstruation, they will hear about it, and then
they're having a lecture on reproductive organ. So
parents need to really do better, especially mothers, because you have to sit your child down to talk to them about these things. And for right now, we are including boys in this conversation too, because we feel they are part of it. They should be part of it to help us stop the period stigma, all of the things. How can a boy help his sister, for example, when she's on her period?
Okay.
It gets difficult for some women, depending on, you know, the kind of body they have or the kind of cycle they so we try to educate even boys too. How can you help? How can you, okay, she's on her period, you should understand that this is normal, this is natural, and not go about, for example, when a girl is on her period and she's staying in school, they are laughing, they are showing, you know, you should even offer to cover her clothes with something, you know. So this information is very, very important, and it's part of period for poverty. Lack of access to information is also period poverty. So we're seeing how we could, you know, not only get teachers or even peers, parents now, boys and girls to, you know, get involved in the conversation and see how we can do well by younger girls.
Okay. All right, great. So now, still talking about menstruation, especially for young girls, the first period can be met with either celebration or fear or of concern, or even concerns rather. So for every girl, this actually signify an important aspect of her life that's transition to womanhood, like you actually said. It's actually a time where they would or they should benefit from the support of family and friends. Whether as a girl, you need the support of not only your parents but also the brothers. But a lot of them have complained that they had to go through that process alone, especially for children who have the too busy parents or the neglectful kind of parents. So how do you educate such children, that or such parents and guardian, that they need to get inculcated in this
You know, when we started for the celebration of Menstrual Hygiene Day this year, when we started, it was supposed to be like a 10 days activity to mark the Menstrual Hygiene Day, which is on May 28th. So when we started, we went to the streets to ask girls about their first period. And and you'll be shocked at the responses. One was like, I saw blood, I was so scared, and I went out, I was telling my mom, mommy, come and see blood, and her sisters and her mom were just laughing at her. And then when it finished laughing, the mom told her to go to the toilet, and the sister should help her roll a tissue. We've seen other girls who say, oh, my mom just told me that I am welcome to the womanhood, and then she told me not to go close to boys, and then she gave me rag. So like we had so many, in fact, there are girls who their moms tell them that, oh, you don't use sanitary pad.
Yes, really.
We all gathered that because we're trying to do a documentary to, you know, shine a light on what is happening, the reality of, you know, these people. And she said, my mom said I should not use a sanitary pad, that is not good. We were like, okay, because everyone who we spoke to, we gave a sanitary pad, and she didn't collect.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So what do you use? She said rag. Some in house, that was what she said. I said, okay, that's fine. So you see, this goes beyond even, you know, just normal, because it goes beyond, poverty. It is more of a cultural tradition. That having this belief that, oh, the sanitary pad is not our way of life, we shouldn't use it. Because so far, all this while, my mom did not use sanitary pad. My great-grandmother did not use sanitary pad. Why should I use sanitary pad? And why should my own child use sanitary pad? But with technology, with, you know, improvement, we get to improve on every other thing. So I asked her, okay, so how do you use the rag? Because sometimes even the use of the rag. How do you now maintain it? How do you wash it, clean it, dry it even? And how frequent do you use this rag? How frequent do you change the rag? And she was just looking. So really, I think it could be a cultural thing for other for some communities or for some women to, and they're trying to inculcate it in their own children, because this is a girl who we've said, okay, well, we want to dash you freebie. You know how Nigerians love free things, but she said no, she's not going to collect it because her mom warned her against, because when we interviewed her at first, we thought she was just bluffing, because my mom, and then we gave her the part, she said she's not going to, and
that belief system is going to go down to her own children.
Yes, because that was what she was raised to believe, except someone else comes to educate her or educate the mom, and then we have a behavioral change from there, or a mind shift.
Okay, now you talked about the information, the lack of information. Now we see that lack of information about menstruation leads to damaging misconceptions and discrimination, and can actually cause girls to miss out on normal childhood experiences like this person that you talked about, and activities. Aside that, you also talked about the stigmas attached to it, and then aside the stigmas, there are also the taboos and the myths that are there to prevent adolescent girls and boys from the opportunity to learn menstruation and then develop healthy habits. So help us to demystify this myth, because I'm sure that during your timing with girls and women, you must have heard some of this myth and taboos about or beliefs about menstruation and all. Okay.
So people believe menstruation to be something dirty, something that when you're on your period, nobody should go close to you. You know, no, you shouldn't do certain things because you're on your period. But who says you cannot do certain things? And that is why things like tampons are even in existence right now. Because before now, you can say, I'm not going to swim, I'm on my period. Now you can swim even while you're on your period.
But some people don't believe in tampons.
Yeah, but I'm saying, you know, you can do certain things, you can do different things, unlike before that menstruation really limits you. And this just goes to women who are educated and enlightened. Those who are not enlightened still have that problem of, you are not pure, you are
unclean.
You're unclean. But she's going through a natural process, and there's nothing unclean about her. It's purely natural. So don't go to certain places because you're impure. Don't talk to boys, or don't go to school even.
Are there religious sentiments attached to this also?
Yes, there are religious sentiments attached to this, but where they say a woman shouldn't go to maybe a mosque or a church. In Islam, for example, you can go to the mosque, but you cannot touch the Quran.
Okay.
Yes. So, but it doesn't limit you from doing whatever it is that you want to do as a woman who is on her menses.
Okay.
So saying that a woman is impure, or a woman cannot go to school because of her period, all boils down to whether she's comfortable or not. And what brings about her comfort is what the product she might be using.
Okay.
For example, if she's using rag and it's maybe filled up, she has a heavy flow, it's not going to, it doesn't have a layer to soak it in, it just comes out. So how can that kind of woman be comfortable where she's going to, or what she wants to do? So you see, if you're wearing your sanitary pad, you're expected to change at least 2 to 3 times a day. When you're wearing your rag, is it the same thing you do?
Okay.
How do you, what are the specific ways you go about it? So that's it. Yeah.
All right, now, so why is it actually something, why is it that something as simple as a sanitary pad or sanitary towel or tampon, why is it that something as simple as that, why is it so vital for a woman's health?
Because she needs it, because if she's going to menstruate, she needs a sanitary pad. If this is part of her life every month, then she needs a sanitary pad to feel safe, to feel secured, to feel, the sanitary pad is, I think it's 7 in a pack.
For different kind products.
For different kind, let's say the list is 7.
Okay.
And she needs like two sanitary pads in every month because she has to change. Let's say she changes twice a day, and she has the period length is 4 days.
Okay.
So this is something she needs to get herself together. It's
So
a necessity. That's why I said earlier on that it's not a luxury. It's a necessity because this is a natural process that has to go on. It's not like just wearing your clothes and you be like, oh, today I don't feel like wearing clothes. Oh, today I don't feel like menstruating.
You just
it's not possible.
You must feel like,
yes.
In fact, you must just menstruate.
You don't have to feel like not menstruating. You have to menstruate.
Okay, so why I actually asked is because, like you said, some women have already taught their children that sanitary pad is not our line of religion or tradition. So will just help us to make them understand why it is important. So is it better to go, okay, let's put it this way, is it better to use sanitary pads, or is it better to use the towels or tissues like some people believe?
There's no comparison to it, because if you even talk about tissue is something that sticks. Tissue is not even advisable at all, because it turns into pieces and it can stick in the lady's vagina, so it is not even advisable at all. But sanitary pads is very, very important for your girl's health, for her to be able to achieve all her goals, for her to go to school, for her to feel comfortable in herself even while she's on her period and all of that.
All right. So now, why then is it that it is a social justice issue? Because you said that you have condoms distributed in hospitals and public places, and there are some days that I think it's World HIV Day, and they start distributing free condoms around, even on streets, even throwing them around.
Yeah.
But then why is it that sanitary pad, despite the fact that it is necessary, it is such a necessity, it is still inaccessible for women, our girls that are in rural areas, even in this 21st century?
Well, I wouldn't know, but I think it's based on priorities. Our government might have, I think women have been taken aback so many times, because that is why we are advocating for women to be in certain positions, because if they are in certain position, they will drive this change that we're clamoring for. Because for example, sex is a choice, and I can decide to say, oh, I want to have sex, or I do not want to have sex, or I can decide to be celibate. But menstruation is not something you just turn off to say, oh no, I don't want to menstruate today. So if we are getting free condoms for sex, then why can we not get free sanitary pads? And it all boils down to policy making, and if we can get because there are countries who have, you know, domesticated this to get having menstrual hygiene laws that, you know, enable women who are in rural communities, underserved women, to get access to free sanitary products. And we can do the same thing too. We can totally do the same thing. It all boils down to policy making. How can we influence change? How can we influence the people in power to see that, oh, there's a problem? Have they identified this problem of period poverty? Have they identified it, or do they feel that, oh, it is a problem enough to be solved? Because this is something that has to be accessible. This is something that is doable.
Okay.
Because if I'm saying public hospitals, if I am rich, why would I go to a public hospital to collect free sanitary pad?
All right.
How many people go to public hospital to collect free condoms? If I am rich, I will not go to a public school to go and collect free sanitary pad. So this is something that really should be looked into. We actually started a petition calling on the federal government, the Nigerian government, to provide free sanitary products to underserved women and girls in communities.
Oh, great. Now let's go on this quick break, and when we return, we will expand this conversation with Amrah Aliyu. See you shortly.
Use hot water. You can drink hot water. You can put hot water in the bottle and put it in your lower tummy. You can do some exercise. You can eat healthy. You can try to, for people who have mood swings, for example, if you know how to go all out on people, you can try to be calm.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is The Conversation. We are reaching you from Kaftan's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. If you just joined us, you've missed quite a lot, but then you can still join in the conversation. Our guest today is Amrah Aliyu. She is a woman's right advocate, and we've been talking about menstrual health or menstrual hygiene management. All right, before we went on that break, we said quite a lot of things. Now, let's talk about poor menstrual hygiene, which we know that can pose serious physical health risk, and it has actually been linked with reproductive and UTIs, that's the urinary tract infections. Now, many girls and women have limited options for affordable menstrual materials, like you've actually stated before we went on that break. But then I'm aware that you have a 10 days activity of teaching women and girls about menstrual hygiene and how to make reusable pad. Could you please walk us through that process?
Okay, so if, for example, I believe in rags, just like the story I gave you about the woman who says that it's a cultural thing. So we teach women and girls in underserved communities. We feel that this is a sustainable plan, because we cannot give them sanitary pads forever. We can just give them for a little while, and then we cannot go on and by giving them. So we try to teach them how to make reusable pads. Reusable pad is just like the normal pad,
okay,
with layers, but this time around it can be reused.
Okay, how so?
So we teach them to make this reusable pad and teach them how to maintain it, because the materials we use are materials that are supposed to make them comfortable. It's not all materials. Like I've seen materials people use Ankara to make reusable pad. Ankara is not advisable at all, because it has colors and it can shed into the skin with time.
Okay.
But these are really unique materials that are used to make this reusable pad. So what we did was we went to IDP camps.
Okay.
And we went to public schools. These are communities that really need this, but we cannot continue to give them sanitary pads. So we taught them how to make reusable pad. This reusable pad, they can make it and use it, and they can also continue to do it as a skill, as a business, to sell to other people in the community.
So the materials are in the market?
Yes.
Okay, the regular materials you see in the market?
Yes.
Okay.
So we teach them how to make this reusable pad. We teach them how to, after knowing how to do it, how to make it, how do you use it?
Okay.
You cannot say, because I have a twin sister, for example, me and the twin sister will be sharing the reusable pad. It's not possible.
Okay.
So you can have 4 reusable pads for a year. That you can be using.
What kind of materials do you use for that?
Drying, and all of that. We teach them how to make to teach them how to go about using it, and even taking care of themselves and taking care of the reusable parts too.
So what kind of materials do you use for it? If you have to reuse it?
Yes, they're just materials that are used for the main sanitary pads.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but this time around, these are more sustainable.
So that you have to wash them?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Unlike the other one that would soak and just you will not even want to look at it again. But these are people that already use rag,
okay.
So this is something sustainable for them, and we advise them to use white, because you can see it clearly. If you are using rag, you feel, oh, it's brown or it's black, or you are not seeing any dirt or anything that is there. So you see what is coming out of your body. You are able to wash it, to dry it, and then reuse it when it's time.
All right, now speaking of the fact that you went to some IDP camps, now we know that girls and women with disabilities and special needs, they actually face additional challenges with menstruation or menstrual hygiene, and they are affected disproportionately. Now, with either lack of access to toilets or with water and materials that they can use to manage their periods. So for this kind of people, how do you help those kind of people?
Okay, so we weren't just at the IDP camp. We're at the school for autism.
Okay.
Children with special need. And tomorrow we're going to be at the school of the blind in Jabi.
Okay.
So the idea is to include them in the conversation.
Okay.
To know how they go about their daily activities. Like for the children in the school of autism, they need help. But we need them to also know that, okay, do they even know what is going on with themselves? What is happening? Do you know what menstruation is? Do you know what a pad is? We show them a pad. Do you know what a pad is? What is this? Oh, this is what I use when blood comes out from here. They know.
Okay.
So we try to educate them on how to take care of themselves, even without getting anyone close by. We try to even to show them how to put the pad on their pants, and they even demonstrated it.
Okay.
Yes, we gave them, their hands were shaking, but they did it.
Oh wow.
And they did it well. We gave them pants and the sanitary pad, and they tried to fix it themselves, to do it well. So that this is what I'm talking about when I said that everybody has to be involved in this conversation.
Okay.
And that is why we felt, oh, these people should really get involved to see what is going on. They know that they are on their period. They didn't understand certain terms, like menstruation. They didn't know what, but when you bring it down to their level, okay, what is this? What is it used for? They say in their pants, in their bum. The other person said, so you have to bring it down to their level
they can understand,
so that they can understand.
All right. Now, so still talking about a menstrual cycle or flow. Now, how does menstrual flow actually affect women's health? Because a lot of people experience different things during this period. Like, for example, some people say they experience constant headache or migraine. Some people talk about swelling. Some people say that they experience weight gain, and some people say they have blackheads or pimples, and even get irritated or even mood swings. So how can you actually explain this?
Well, I'm not a health practitioner, but I believe this is really normal, depending on the lady or the girl. Like, for example, I think mine should be just mood swings.
Okay.
It just comes. I'm sleeping and I'm on my period. I didn't even know, like, there's no any stomach pain or any headache. It could be just mood swings. And for other people, it's different. 2 weeks to your period, you're already feeling some type of way. I think it's really normal
for every woman.
Yes.
So now, what are the normal days on the normal menstrual cycle? How many days is it supposed to last for normal people?
5 days.
Okay. So, but some people say they have 8 days. Is that normal?
Yeah, it's normal.
Oh, so then some people say they have 3 days. Is it also normal?
Yeah, it's normal.
Oh, great. All right. So now, what is the best way that you talked about mood swings? What are the best way that you can take care of yourselves during that cramps when you have period cramps? How is the best way you can take care of yourselves? Probably do it yourself kind of way. Okay. Home methods. You
can use hot water. You can drink hot water. You can put hot water in the bottle and put it in your lower tummy. You can do some exercise. You can eat healthy. You can try to for people who have mood swings, for example, if you know how to how to go all out on people, you can try to, you know, be calm at home, try not to get, you know, all worked up during your period, and that's it basically.
All right. Now you were talking about the things that you can do or the things that you can take. So are there actually do's and don'ts that you have to strictly adhere to during this period? Because some people will say that you're not supposed to take milk, you're not supposed to take coconut or water, you're not supposed to take sugar or salt at this moment. So what are the do's and don'ts?
For me, the do's and don'ts I would say is that too much intake of drugs is not advisable. For example, for people who have cramps, every month you're on your way going to go get certain drugs to take. It's quite not healthy. You can try to minimize it, see what can you do instead of those drugs, you know, so you don't get, sometimes you even get addicted, it doesn't work anymore. So try to limit, even if it's paracetamol that you take all the time, it's bad for your health, not to talk of all of these drugs that you put together to say, oh, I am on my period, I want to take this, that. It's quite not healthy at all.
All right, so we got a social media message, and then someone asked, it says, is it okay to have sexual intercourse during menstrual period, and will it lead to pregnancy? Okay, I just hope that is even an adult that is asking this question. And then, do you have anything to say about this?
I don't.
All right.
But well, Islamically, it's not advisable to have sex during your period. In fact, it's prohibited to have sex during your period. That's all I know. I am not a health practitioner.
All right, then. So let's talk about FGM, female genital mutilation. How much does menstruation or menstrual period affect girls who went through a FGM?
So with FGM, is not only menstruation, it's even sex, it's even sometimes trying to urinate, is sometimes girls have the menstruation is not was stable. Sometimes they have painful, really painful menstruation, like they have painful urination. You know, FGM, there's different types of FGM depending on which one. I've forgotten what they call it. It's like stages,
like 4 stages
of FGM. So FGM in a whole is one discussion on its own. So I feel that for FGM, for people who have been through FGM, it's not just the menstruation, it's everything. It's urination, it's even having sex, it's everything.
All right, now, so since we're still commemorating World Menstrual Hygiene Day, so aside the commemoration, what else should people, governments, parents be doing to commemorate this day?
Aside giving that your friend or your sister a free sanitary pad, you can give her funds to go get a sanitary pad. You can gift her a sanitary pad. You can go to a secondary school to talk to girls. You can gather your friends or your younger ones to talk to them about menstrual hygiene. You can also sign the petition that would enable the government to provide sanitary pads to underserved women and girls. And the petition is at change.org/let's-end-period-poverty. So you can do all of these things.
All right.
You can also gather funds to donate to an NGO who have a pad bank that, you know, can give to underserved women and girls. You can also learn how to make reusable pad and teach maybe women and girls in IDP camps or women and girls in underserved communities.
All right, great. Now, so what are your last words to girls, women on commemorating World Menstrual Hygiene Day and adhering strictly to menstrual hygiene management?
Okay, So to women and girls out there, especially to younger girls, I just want to say that you have no limit. Menstruation cannot be a boundary to your success, and it cannot be something that would take you back. It should be something that would even take you up there, and you have no limits. You can reach it however you like. Try to take your bath 3 times when you're on your period. Try to change 2 times, I mean. Try to change your sanitary pads frequently, and try to be good girls and good ambassadors of our country.
Great. Thank you so much for your time with us, Amrah Aliyu. It's been a wonderful time having this talk with you.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, you've heard it all. We have been chatting with Amrah Aliyu. She is a woman's right advocate, and it's been a wonderful time here on The Conversation. I'm sure that you must have been rightly educated and informed. I'll definitely see you next time. From the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Annabel Orji. God bless Nigeria.